Hello everybody. So today I have a new video with some batch card making where I'm going to share a couple fun things. I'm going to be making my Halloween cards for 2014, and I'm also going to be using the Studio Calico fall printable poster on the inside of my cards. It's going to look so cool. If you've seen any of my cards that I've made before, you'll know that I tend to not use stamps. I tend to use more scrapbook type embellishments on my cards. So I found these cute little neon ghosts at Michael's and I picked up 3 packs, and that was enough to make a bunch of cards. I also went through my stash and I'm looking for some neon cardstock to match the green with the little green neon ghost. And then I'm going to look for a blue to match with the blue neon ghost. And I'm going to also be using this vintage collection stack, also from Michael's. I believe the neon stack was from Joann's, but this vintage one is from Michael's, and I found a pink to match the pink ghost. So they're kind of monochromatic to a certain extent. I'm using some paper from Joann's. This is a great, just kind of white textured paper, and it's textured on one side and not on the other. And then I have this whitewash collection paper that's gray and textured on one side and then black on the back side, and it's very thick. And then this one's kind of a pale pink texture on one side, and then a softer pink on the back, or a brighter pink on the back. And that one's a light blue with a great linen texture, and then a brighter blue on the back. And I'm going to go ahead and use the pink, blue, and gray and use my Silhouette to die cut these little boo die cuts out. And I designed the boo with my computer using Photoshop, and you can see I can get 6 of those per 12 by 12 sheet of paper. So I just went ahead, since I am doing batch card making and trying to make a bunch of Halloween cards to send to some friends and family, I went ahead and used the entire sheet of paper. And so I cut 6 blue, 6 pink, and then here you'll see I cut 6 gray as well. And then I do have a couple sheets left over in case I need to do some more. And you'll notice that the die cuts are not quite 4 by 6. They're a little smaller than that. And that's because I wanted them to be a nice size in comparison to my little ghosts. I wanted the ghosts to look good proportionately to the die cuts so that everything looked like it kind of belonged together nicely. And then here you'll see I'm taking my 12 by 12 sheet of white cardstock that I'm using for my base, and I'm going to utilize it so that I can get 4 card bases out of this one sheet of 12 by 12 cardstock. And I'm cutting it to just over 4.5 inches wide by 6.5 inches long. And that's the entire base of my card, so it is a pretty small card. And you'll see it's not the most efficient way of cutting, but it is the best way for utilizing the full 12 by 12 sheet of paper, since I'm not just cutting a bunch of 4 by 6s. That way I'm able, like I said, to get four card bases out of that one. And so here I'm just trimming up the last base, and you'll see I have 1, 2, 3, 4 card bases. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then those are all the scraps I have left. There's not much there. So I'm going to go ahead and take those to my printer, and this is that beautiful free fall printable poster from Studio Calico, and I just altered it in Photoshop to change the colors to match my ghosts. And so I have one that's a little more pink, and then I have one that's a little more green and blues. And I just printed the poster on the inside of my card bases. And I decided I wanted the inside of the cards to be the actual textured side, whereas I'm sure traditionally you'd probably want the textured side to be on the outside, but I wanted the the poster to print up on that really great texture. So that's why I decided to do that. And then I just scored halfway through so that I could easily fold them in half to make my card bases. And that's basically, now I have 4 bases done and ready to embellish the fronts. So I'm going to go ahead and take 2 pink, a blue, and a gray die cut, and then I'm going to go ahead and take the matching cardstock that I picked out to match my little ghosts. And here I'm just measuring my paper, and I'm kind of trimming it because I want to easily measure about just under an inch, like maybe 3/4 of an inch strip. And the easiest way for me to do that was to start out with a sheet of paper that was uh, full, I don't know how to describe it, where I could easily take an inch away and see what I had left. So I hope that makes sense. So anyways, I'm cutting about 3/4 inch strips out of all 3 of these papers. And now that I have my strips, I'm going to go ahead and take my die cut and kind of decide like what size I actually want the final strip to be to use on the card. So I ended up with almost a square, so I'd say probably 3/4 of an inch by, I don't know, a half of an inch. Or I guess that's a little more of a rectangle, but yeah. So I'm just gonna cut a green, a blue, and then I'm gonna go ahead and cut 2 pinks since I have two pink fronts ready, and just make sure everything fits. And then I'm going to go grab my adhesive. I decided to use some wet adhesive just because for me it was faster and I knew it would be really permanent. So I used the Ultimate Glue, which is a really, really great all-purpose glue. And I'm going to go ahead and adhere my die cut to the front of my card. And I'm taking care to match up the blue die cut with the card that has the Studio Calico poster printed up in the blue and green theme. And then same thing with the gray die cut. I'm adding the little green piece of paper to emphasize the one of the cute little boos in green. And then I'm going to attach it to the front of one of my card bases, but I'm going to make sure to choose a card base that has the blue and green design on the inside. And then since I have the 2 pinks, I know that I have the 2 pink card bases left. So I'm going to go ahead and add my pink on there. And this is it's a pretty fast process. It's a nice way of designing a card and then being able to assemble it, have cards to send to a bunch of friends, a bunch of family, have them end up looking, nice and like you put effort into it, but it's not super time consuming, and it's kind of fun that it's not the traditional type of card making where you would just do stamping and coloring, and you get to use up some of your other scrapbook supplies as well. That's not exactly why I do it though. The main reason is because I usually end up finding a really cute embellishment like these little ghosts at the craft store, and I'm like, so many come in a pack, what can I use it for? And then I'm like, oh yeah, I can use it for cards. So then that's when I decide that I'm just going to make a bunch of cards for whatever season it is that the cute little embellishments fit. So I'm just adhering my little felt ghosts to the front of my cards, and I matched the pinks up with a pink, and now I'm putting the little green on the green. And that's just my personal preference. I like having the blue with the blue, although they look really cute all mixed and matched colors, because I did test that out as well, and that also looks adorable. So here's what the final cards look like, and then I get to write little notes on the inside and send them to some of my friends and family, and I hope you enjoy, and I hope it gives you an idea of a different way to use some of the free printables that you get at some of that fun online scrapbook stores, and then also think about using more scrapbook embellishment type things in your cards rather than just sticking to stamping for all your card making. Kind of thinking outside the box a little bit. Thanks so much for watching, you guys, and have a great fall day. I'll see you next time. Bye.